let's just sew whatever. All right, we are going to start completely from the beginning of this bag. I will fast forward through most of this, but I just wanted to say I printed out pages 35 through 42 because the other pages are just plain old rectangles. Make sure you get a ruler to measure out your test square. You want to make sure it's the right size. Unless you intended to print it smaller, then you do you. So I also printed out page 8, which is the additional cut list. And what I like to do is faux laminate this page. If you have an actual laminator, do it. But I always like to keep packing tape in my sewing area. Okay, well, let's gross looking piece. And then on the number of pieces, you can add just a little piece of tape and use a dry erase marker as you cut to just mark that off. If you want to, you can also, you know, tape up the other side, but I really just need the number of pieces cut checked off so that I can keep track of what I have and haven't cut. And then I'll show you how I like to cut out pattern pieces. If you have a paper cutter or you want to use a rotary cutter, you could absolutely do that. You want to cut outside of the black line. As close as possible. And now these pieces need to be taped together. There are little boxes with numbers and letters to denote where they are going to be attached to. So this is totally optional. And I believe that Carissa of Needle and Anchor actually adds this to her pattern pieces. But I like to cut out a little piece to overlap so it's a little stronger in that area. So instead of cutting off that edge, I just taper the cut. So I'm like adding a little extra trapezoidal connector. Same for right here. So I'll go in at an angle. And then I cut it off. Gosh darn it. Outstanding. Well, you'll be able to see the difference then. I could also just add a piece of paper underneath that section and tape it to it, but this is just a stitch guide, so it shouldn't be too bad. But you don't want to overlap those black lines unless the pattern says to, but I don't think you generally do. So we want these to just meet up right next to each other. So this piece is just a little bit stronger. I mean, it has more tape too, but I really think it helps. And if you're not a fan of that piece, you can tape that down as well. I believe that she has projector files for this too. So, I mean, if you have that, you don't need to do any of this. I will admit I normally cut the trapezoid shape first, so that's why I cut it off initially. I'm really excited to make this bag. It seems like a really good, like, I did it again, confident beginner bag. If you have to, mark it out. Dorothy really loves watching Studio Ghibli movies, and there was one night all she wanted to listen to was the Ponyo theme song. So that's in my ears right now. All right, so then overlap that. There is a lot of information in the pattern, so just go slow and read it over. She has a lot of really handy tricks written in the pattern, so if you're on the hunt to learn some new things, you will definitely learn some new stuff within this pattern, which is honestly the goal when you are becoming a better bag maker, is to continue learning. Oh, that's awesome. This zipper facing, or the facing template for the connectors. For your interfacing and stuff. The zipper end piece is also really cute. If you don't have end hardware or you don't want to use end hardware, that's a great option. Oh, that's a connector piece. Leave that on there. This is a cut on the fold. If you didn't want to cut it on the fold, you could just print out another set of those pattern pieces. Just keep in mind that you would need to face it mirrored. So I'll hold on to this. Just keep it with the pattern. I might need it someday. As I'm cutting this out, I'm thinking about how how I want to interface this bag. Darn weather change. There is a lot of Decaville Light written on these pieces, and I'm using a thicker vinyl, and I'm also using waterproof canvas to line it. So already that's going to be fairly sturdy. So I think I might use some of these pieces, but maybe not all of them. And it's very possible it's written within the pattern what to do in those instances, and I just haven't read it yet. Okay. So this is a hidden strap connector for the gusset, which is great for, honestly, it's great for domestic machines. It's a lot less bulk than adding an additional strap connector, and you can usually just kind of secure it with rivets. I may show, well, no, I think it'll work. I was gonna say I may show a buttonhole method that is similar to the Chevron bag from Needle and Anchor. Well, I didn't think I would show all this whole process, but it's not taking too long. So I definitely want to add the side stabilizer of Decaville with a bag with this many pockets. You definitely want to make sure you've got some strength. Oh, okay. I think that she does use this method. I did kind of glance over the pattern last night, but I fell asleep. All right, so I don't need to cut out my overlay. But again, I'm gonna keep it with the pattern. And a lot of times what I'll do is I will just use a hair clip to keep it all together. All right, S1 has a connector. And I love that you can really tell that she was careful how she added pieces to optimize printer paper and space. Sometimes you download a pattern and you're like, did you even think about how much ink this was going to use? Or paper. Okay. Oh, God, I like you. I do. Okay, so that is all of the cut pattern pieces cut. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look through and I'm going to say, okay, this one is stabilizer, this one is stabilizer, stabilizer, stabilizer. This is my side panel. This is lining, so I'm going to create another pile for lining. This one's technically a stabilizer. Stabilizer, inner top panel. So that could be either vinyl or lining. This is just a template. This is my guide template, and this is another stabilizer. My gosh, love it. So for the template pieces, I usually have a lot of those, but what I'm gonna do is I will clip these together and just make sure I take them over to the sewing machine. All right, I am going to start. So if you were using a fusible interfacing, I would say turn your heat press on, start with your exterior fabric because that's what you interface. And then by the time you've got your exterior cut, your heat press is heated up, you can cut out your stabilizer and then end with your lining. I'm going to be using the peel and stick interfacing. I just really like it right now, especially. It's really been fun to use. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my exterior vinyl. I am using a pearl, I forget what we called it, but this is releasing in March? No. February, releasing in February. But it's the Luxe vinyl that has the microfiber backing. It's my favorite, okay? Can't wait to not be obsessed with it. All right, so I'm just getting my fabric laid out over top of the giant mess on my cutting table. You ever just try to stay organized and you're like, wow, I am not good at this. All right, so I'm gonna look at the sizes I need. So it looks like the biggest I'm gonna need, obviously there's a crossbody strap that's optional or the shoulder handle. You can pick or do both. I might do both. But I'm going to make the shoulder handle a little bit different. So maybe I'll do, because the way she has you do it is so it's thin and continuous. So I'm going to take the measurement and divide it by 2 because that will give me the finished strap. So I'm going to do, I forgot. Don't have holes. I'm gonna do like a 4 by 24 handle for the shoulder, and that will just be, it's the whole ruler, Lauren, that's why you designed it. So I can add snap hooks to each end of this shoulder strap. And that's nice because then I can use like the selvage end, and this is going to be folded in, so it's not going to matter. And then I'm going to try and start going back to how I used to do this, which is I would mark the center while I was at the cut table. Yay! And then if you want, you can keep your double-sided tape at your cut table as well so that you can add your tape, but I wouldn't fold it, unstick and fold it yet, because it could come undone. Oh, I thought I turned my heat press on just out of like, that's what I do. Okay, so I wanted to add a webbing, a seatbelt webbing crossbody strap. So I'm gonna do that. So I've cut this to about 54 inches. I'll just stick that in my strap pile. I always like to keep a bin. These are just rolly cart bins. And then this is a photo holder. This is where I'll put like little connectors or my hardware, zipper pull, zipper tape, just so the project is all together. And then these templates I'll stick on top because I'll want them at the top when I start to sew the bag. Okay, So before I cut these, I'm going to continue with the rectangular pieces. I have my ruler cut out. I have a square, a straight edge started, so I may as well continue along with this. Front top. Okay, 3. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't matter, I'm still gonna do it. So if you don't have 4 straight sides, so long as you have the ability to do 3, then you can remove it from the fabric and straighten it up from this side. Okay. So then I'm going to use my silver marking pen or a ballpoint pen or a heat erasing friction pen, whatever suits your needs. And I'm going to write, you can either put front top panel or you could just put pattern piece A to keep it really simple and minimal since it is pattern piece A. And I'm just going to stick that in the bin and continue on our cutting journey. You really shouldn't cut over-handed like that, but if you know you're okay, you're fine. All right, so this is piece B. And then as I'm cutting these off, or sometimes I'll just do a recap. So I'll go, okay, yep, I've got A, yep, I've got B. Oh man, I cut that piece wrong. We will use it for something else. Yeah. How was that crooked? What did I do? Probably because I was cutting overhanded, huh? All right. So to make this easier on myself, I'm just going to cut this bigger than it needs to be. I'm just going to cut a bigger square out of this. There we go. Okay, there's that measurement that we need it to be. And there's that measurement that we need it to be. Just double checking everything is lined up. There we go. Why was that so hard? Yeah, it's the right size now. Okay. This is piece B. Yeah, that would have been an issue. I mean, it's not that far off, but it's enough. We know. Set that there. Oh, perfect. I can get this next piece. Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, great. So piece D is just a little bit smaller. Great. All right, there's my crooked piece. No, that's my crooked piece. All right, this is D. All right, the back top panel. So again, I'm going to cut this a little bit bigger than I need it to be, and then I'll make it shorter later. Alright, so this one is 4. There we go. So this is piece C. Great. So I've got C, I've got D, and now E is a side panel, which is a pattern piece. And like this little chunk here, you could use this for your zipper end, you know. I'm just going to put it in the scrap bin for now. Excuse you, let go. Okay, side panel. And then for the next one, to conserve, if your exterior fabric is not directional, you can just line up that straight edge. minimize that. So this is 2 exterior, 2 woven interfacing. So technically we're done with this piece, other than we need those markings transferred. So I'm going to use a clip to hold these together and set those in the bucket for now. And then just kind of take a minute to recap. Okay, we cut out the side panel. Now we need our connectors times 2. Take my smaller ruler. It's definitely not necessary to have multiple sized rulers, but it can make things a little easier. Okay, so there are my 2 connectors. And I'll put that in with my strap pile, or you could put it in your little hardware bin. It's been a really long time since I've used a roll of vinyl instead of like nice little 18-inch roll, you know. All right, so now we're going to cut out the base. And this could be another one where you cut out the piece a little bit bigger than it needs to be, and then you cut it smaller. Just so you've got a nice straight side. Okay. So this is piece G. So I have one more pattern piece to cut. If I knew where it went. Found it. Great. And for this piece, you could actually measure how wide and how tall it is, give or take. So like you could cut 4 inches by 13.5 and then trace your 2 to cut out, which I think I'm gonna do. There's a nice little 4-inch chunk here. It's about the height I need. For half a second, I was like, I feel like I cut that out wrong. Okay. There's that. And then we need another one. Piece each. Zipper piece. Oh wow, we need 2 of those zipper overlays. Do we? Zipper piece I. Oh, okay. Oh, what am I thinking? Okay, that's the top zipper. Okay. I was like, wait, what? So we need 10 by 3. And so what I'm going to do for this part, I'm going to clip those pieces together and I'm going to put them in my lining pile so that I know I need lining to match that. All right, the zipper end tab, I'm going to be using hardware. All right, and then the zipper overlay and the slip pocket trim are all that we need left now. So there is my pocket trim. And I'll cut out an overlay piece. I'm cutting a piece that's 2 inches tall. Probably by 10 inches wide. What do you think? This one isn't. This one is like 8.5. We'll do 9. 9 by 2. And then I measure 3/4 of an inch in from all sides. So I like to do a long rotary cut to get as close to my 3/4 inch line, and then I will just trim away the rest. And I find this gives me the best and quickest results. And then this little piece on the inside here could be a zipper pull somewhere else, because it's just so beautifully cut out. And I think that's it for the cutting list for the exterior pieces. All right, I am cutting out my lining. I am using a printed waterproof canvas, so I don't need to interface it. It's got plenty of strength. Structure is the word I was mostly looking for. All right, and then we just need 2 of these pieces. So I'm lining that piece up on the fold. And just really carefully cutting into the corners, and these we will save. Ooh, that's nice. That's pretty. So you could do the lazy way. I'm calling it the lazy way, but maybe we'll call it the neurodivergent way. So if you are wanting to like fussy cut this, make sure that this print lines up. You can do that. There really isn't a way for me to do that with this, but instead of cutting on the fold again, what I like to do is lay the piece I've already cut out on my fabric and cut around that. It is in no way the most accurate, but I like it. I don't know, maybe it's not faster, but like to me, it feels faster. All right, and there's my lining. So I am going to keep those clipped together like this. I don't need this pattern piece anymore, and there's no marking on it that I feel like I need to take to my machine, so I will put it behind my little cut list. And I will cross that off. Bottom lining, use pattern piece. Okay, so that was piece P. So we need our zipper placket, which is like the zipper panel, just a better term for it. So I'm going to cut this to 10 by 2, which is wider than I need it to be, but I always like for my lining to be wider to account for inconsistencies when I fold the fabric. And then we'll clip that together. Put that in our lining pile. Zipper placket, front, top, lining. One piece. Huh. Okay. Okay, and this is piece L. All right, front, bottom. Oh, okay. This is somewhere else. All right. 6.5. All right, so I've cut this to the correct height. I just need to cut it to the correct width. Yes, okay. And then again, this piece, I need the exact same size. So I can just trace around it. And these are now piece M. Okay. Got it. N is for zipper tab. Okay, yep. Okay. So, got a little scrap here we can cut our zipper tabs from. This should be 1 inch by 2 inch. I wonder where my other little ruler went. 1 by 2 by 2. So I'll do 1 by 4 and cut it in half. All right, so these little zipper tabs I'm gonna put in my bin here. Or I will lose them. All right, back pocket lining. This one's a bigger one. But should be okay. So 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I can put these two rulers together. Apparently there's like a tool you can use to combine rulers, which is cool. Or you can just get out a bigger one, but. There we go. And I'm guessing this is like a big pocket that we fold down. So I'm going to do something very terrible. Well, no, it's not terrible. I was going to say, so I'm not going to worry about this edge being super straight, but we could do that. I'm going to fold it in half. Okay. This is O. There are also pattern piece labels in the pattern. So there's little squares you can cut out and then clip to your pieces as you go if you need a little more assistance in that area. Interior zipper pocket, 8.5 by 6.5. So just a little bit bigger than this piece. So if you're using a cut mat and your ruler isn't quite big enough for what you need, you can kind of fake it by cutting one side and then moving your ruler and now I have the size I need it to be. And for the next one, I'll just do that same trick. Oh, I am using a striped print, so I should probably care what direction they're going in, huh? And then since I know this coordinates with that, I'm going to clip them together. I'll put it in the lining pile. Interior zipper pocket, I've got those. Interior slip pocket. That's a pretty big one. This is the slip pocket. And it's going to get folded in half. So one, there is the 10. So 8. So I need this to be at 6. There is 6. There we go. Go. Yep. I am afraid I didn't make the back pocket lining big enough. No, okay, we're good. And so the interior slip pocket goes with the accent piece that we cut out. So I'm going to put those next to each other. That's right, that's right. These get folded up, and then this gets folded over top of that. Cool. Yep, yep. Baby, loving you got me right away. Connector facing. So this part you don't see. That's why it's called a facing. So 2 and 1 1/4. So 4. Ah, pretty good timing. All right, 4. Seems small. All right, so this is 2 by 1 1/4. This is my connector facing. Yes. Okay, pretty good. So then I have my templates here, and we just need to cut out our stabilizers. So I will put my lining, and something I do sometimes to kind of decide what kind of stabilizer I want to use is I'll hold this all together, because this is about the weight that the bag when it's finished is going to be. So I think I'll go ahead and use the peel and stick on all of the pieces just so we can see what it's like. But I don't think that's really going to be the best option with the materials I have picked. Okay. Let's be realistic. I don't need that. All right. So I'm going to clean up before I start cutting out my interfacing, because when we get to the interfacing, when we're done with that part, we're going to just want to go sew it. So it's always nice to reset your space. I swear to God, I did not used to be this like tidy and organized. See, it's driving him nuts. Clean it up. All right, so we are back to cut out stabilizer. Stabilizer, front, top stabilizer. All of these, except for one, which is the base, are pattern pieces provided other than the base. So I should be able to cut out the base stabilizer. Base is piece G. Ruler. Ruler cutter. Okay. So I'm starting with this base because this is the piece I need my ruler for, but then everything else I don't need the ruler. So then I can put those away. Just throwing out my thought process out there. What's really cool is like big pieces like this, I've been kind of like cutting into circles or squares to hold onto, because I want to make like a little pile of them to keep at my sewing machine for, you know, you can use that to cover nameplates, you can use it to cover magnetic snaps, purse feet, that kind of a thing, because you just peel it and stick it. So the older version of this that I had like a clear backing. What's cool about this is it has a paper backing that you can write on. So you're able to trace out your pattern pieces if you need to make sure You're being as conservative as possible. Or you could save it to write yourself notes. I'm just going to throw it away because I can't keep everything. All right, pile of stabilizer, moving pieces I don't need, and then marking off of that list as we go. So I'm probably gonna work my way up that list, because here's my side panels, and then here's my side panel stabilizer. Like, let's say you don't have a ton of this stabilizer available. What you can do is you can trace your pieces and make sure it all works out within the space you've laid out before you start cutting. So here's a nice little angled piece. I would say you would want to keep a second rotary cutter around for this so it doesn't dull your blade as fast, because you're cutting through paper and adhesive. Okay, and then to conserve this, we'll flip one the other way, line it up. And then before we peel this, we need to cut out the hole in that stabilizer as well. So what I'm doing is I'm poking through to find those 4 corners, to mark those out, and then matching up the holes, and then we'll cut that out. I got my scissors. I'm not sure what I can use that little chunk for, so I will have to toss that. Oh. All right, there's that. And then we are done with the stabilizer hole placement and the stabilizer piece. So we can set those in there. Here is my side panel. You can also interface using a heat press with this stabilizer as well. So it's not one or the other. You can do both with it. So we're going to center that on the side panel. Side panels clip that back together. Okay, so this is the front top stabilizer. We can also, I need one of these, one of these, one of these, one of these. Okay, so it's just 4 more pieces. Let me double check my cut list to make sure that that's correct. Side stabilizer, 2 pieces. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces to go. I also love that her cutting list shows what zippers you need to cut. I would say the only thing I would recommend is to also include the hardware you need on that sheet. Just seems helpful, but I mean, it is a cut list, so it makes sense that it isn't there. But then it's like your quick glance sheet for when you go to make the bag. You just need that and the pattern piece, and you're ready to go. Okay, these are good stabilizer pieces. If you're wanting this to be more of like a slouchy crossbody, I would say you probably don't need as much of the stabilizers. But if you're making this to be like a really stand-up little shoulder bag, you definitely want to make sure you're using adequate stabilizing products. All right. And that is it for stabilizer. We just need to place it on our pieces. All right, so now we are going to fuse our stabilization pieces. We're going to start with piece S1, which is going to go on piece A. So mark a line 3/4 of an inch down from the top edge. Oh, so I'm just going to use my ruler. And that's another thing I really like about this is I don't have to worry about it being, you know, on my heat press just right to get it to sit into place. I can just stick it and know it's in there, on there, it's on there. All right, these are my lining, top lining pieces. Okay. Piece B, front pocket panel. Piece B is going to get the piece 2 stabilizer. I'm going to lay this one 1/2 inch up from the bottom. Piece 2. And you do not have to stick all of this down at once. You could just peel up a little edge first. Make sure it's where you want it to be. Okay. Then you can peel the rest. Okay. And then piece D gets the back pocket stabilizer. Oh, I missed piece C. Okay, we'll do it. All right, so my camera cut out for some reason before I was able to show you attaching piece C with stabilizer S3, but that was the last step. So now I'm gonna clean up my patterns, or my pattern pieces. You can see keeping them clipped like this really makes a difference for me anyway. But I also have like binder insert covers that I've been kind of using because I have so many patterns. But I'm just gonna go over the cutting list really quick so that I know I've got everything. All right, so we have piece A, we have piece B, piece C, piece D. I've got my 2 side panel E's, my connector, my interior top panel, zipper placket, this, which I also have lining of. The zipper end tab I'm not going to worry about because I'm going to be using a hardware piece. I've got my zipper overlay. And then I have a crossbody strap, which I'm using 1.5 inch wide webbing, and then a crossbody a shoulder strap 4 inches wide by about 24. It's just going to be a little shoulder strap. And then these are my connectors. And then this is piece G, the base of my bag. So there's that. And then for the lining fabric, I have my zipper placket. Let's see, we've got the front top lining. Got pieces M. This is, oh, front top lining is a little tiny piece. Oh, there's the front top lining. Bottom lining, piece M. Got it. I've got my zipper tabs. They're here. Back pocket lining is piece O. That's this fun feller. Yep. And then my interior zip pocket, interior slip pocket, connector facings, piece S. Yep, tabs are in there, that's right. And then we make sure we have our templates here for when we are at our machine. But other than that, we're gonna grab our hardware, and then that's the end of this video. It's ready to sew, and I will see you in the next video for that. So now it's time to grab our hardware. I don't have a 14mm magnetic snap, but I do have 18mm ultra thin magnetic snap, so I think that one will work. So I'm gonna grab one of those. I love how I'm just automatically grabbing rainbow hardware. It's not wrong. All right. 2 1-inch wide D-rings. And since you could use triangle rings or a D-ring, or you could even use 1-inch O-rings, but I'm going to be adding 2 straps to this bag, so I want to have a nice large D-ring to attach that to. I need a 1.5-inch wide swivel clip for my crossbody strap. And then I also need a slide adjuster for that. So 2 snap hooks and a slider. And then for the shoulder strap, I'm just gonna need 2 1-inch snap hooks, 5 purse feet, which are optional. And then we still need to cut our zippers and add our zipper pulls. The size needed for zippers are very clearly written out. If you're using pre-made zippers, you'll want a different size. But yeah, I can't wait to sew this with you, and I will see you in that video.